The number one reason why you should never settle for less than what you deserve is because as a woman, you set the bar in every single relationship. Because you set the bar, you can have anything that you want. You know me, I'm a huge advocate for women getting exactly what they want and nothing less. So if you want to know how to get what you want and you want to declare and claim everything that is yours from a place of strength, from a place of knowing and self-worth and deserving, I wrote all about it in my book, Hot Girl's Guide to Dating, which is coming out in September. And I'm offering you the first juicy chapter for free. All you need to do is send me your email address and I'll send you a copy of the mini ebook.
Because you set the bar, you can have anything you want. Isn't that amazingly similar to what an entitled brat would say right before they went into a juvenile tantrum? Seriously, Colleen, you think you are going to have the best-selling hot girl dating coach book like this? Sorry, sister, but just because you were born with a built-in taco and fun bags, neither men, society, and not one individual owes you what you want just because your fifis want it served to you on a silver platter. I'm sure my male viewers got a kick out of the fact she actually wrote a book for other women to read and come to the conclusion they deserve anything just for existing. Now, I will take this opportunity to throw in a few more light jokes in and do the usual moving on.
But wait! There's more!
Oh yes, fam, there is more. This is like the gift that keeps on giving. I just had to share this second gem of a video this queen made with my viewers. Roll the tape.
Around a guy, just simply ask him, what value do you think a stay-at-home mom brings to
If only it were this simple. Unfortunately, a lot of men don't even know that they're misogynist. So if you ask them this question, they're going to feed you a line that's a societal norm, or they're going to tell you what you want to hear. I once had a friend who called me a victim and a manipulator, which doesn't even make sense, for being able to manifest huge gifts out of thin air. Obviously, I defriended him, but this is a perfect example of somebody putting on a mask of being a friendly face, an evolved creature, somebody who loves the feminine, but literally does not understand the feminine, and cannot even comprehend how the feminine acts, how it behaves, what value it brings. Manifesting out of thin air and being able to receive a huge gift is the feminine. Those are qualities of a perfect feminine being.
There it is, fam. That's quality entertainment, true TV. Okay, most men don't know they are misogynist. Oh, this Colleen nailed it with blanketed bias prejudice engulfing all men with the most genderist negative term she could come up with. And she unfriended someone who called her a manipulator. Could it have been possible they were doing what friends do by pointing out something negative she is doing? Nah, she did the typical female hive mind echo chamber step by cutting that person out of their lives, and she seriously thinks she is the type of person who is going to lead others in relationship decision making. Manifesting huge things out of thin air is feminine. I would tend to say this is more of a justification for manipulation, but I am just an ignorant gorilla. I am sorry, I rarely say that women show actions that show disregard of consequences to others, but this is an example of someone just wanted to receive gifts with no show of worry if the gift could cause harm to the one gifting it to her. If I'm wrong, just let me know in the comments. Moving on.
You know what I find hotter than a man with a six-pack, or a man with a really good haircut, or a man with shiny toys, or like whatever they use to like flex these days? It's a man with daddy energy. And by daddy energy, I mean like a provider. Like it's a providing energy. Like a man who's just going to take care of you, not necessarily financially, but like emotionally and physically, and he just shows up. He's a man of his word, or he goes and grabs the door for you, not because he's trying to impress you, but like he literally does that for everybody. Or he checks on you, like, did you make it home okay? How are you feeling emotionally? Like checks in on you. Yeah, and like I'm at the point now where it doesn't even matter if you're older, if you're younger, if you have a six-pack, if you don't have a six-pack, if you have a full hairline or you don't have a full hairline. It's what's your energy. And if you don't have daddy energy, I can't do it. I feel like I've been with too many men with baby energy, and it's put me into like a motherly place where I almost don't even want to have kids anymore, because I've done nothing but raise.
Ladies, this thing called daddy energy this young Queen is talking about is basically what a man's traditional role in a relationship was, and traditional women got to benefit from it before women all decided to let the pink-haired, smash the patriarchy, misandry-fueled hive mind movement take the reins and redefine modern-day dating into don't need no man, I can do everything by my bad self, sleep with 100 chads, and then wondering where all the good men at a decade post smashing into the wall norm. Hey, don't look at this gorilla. I didn't create the modern dating market. I just made profits from the shares of wine and pet stores I have. Men in the West were originally traditional, like this young Queen has described. But long gone are those days, and to find a man like that is rare. Even if you ladies did find a man like that, there is no guarantee that modern women aren't going to burn it out of him, with the modern entitlement attitude and the family court system on top of that. Also, she said a key phrase at the end. She has been with too many men. A traditional man with the values she is looking for isn't looking for a woman with an extensive dating history. I know a lot of women are going to complain that is unfair because how are they supposed to find a traditional man if they don't date around? Ask your grandmothers. They didn't date around. They got a good traditional man without using the force or a crystal ball, didn't they?
Show of hands for everybody who knew. Bingo.
Moving on.
Okay, let's talk about my top 5 dating boundaries. Number 1, I am not sleeping with you unless you're my boyfriend. I used to believe so strongly that if they're the right guy, it won't matter when you sleep with them, but it's so hard to figure out if they're the right guy so early on. So I'm sorry, but unless you're my man, I'm not sleeping with you or doing anything with you besides kiss. Number 2 is no sleepovers. You're not staying at my place, I'm not staying at your place, I'm going the home. That creates a false sense of intimacy, and I just don't want to do it. It also makes it harder not to do with them. Number 3 is no introducing them to family, and I'm not meeting your family. I feel like meeting family is such a privilege, and I value that so highly. I'm not just going to introduce a random man that is not my boyfriend to my family, and I don't want to meet your family either.
Before we even reach the boundaries by the numbers, how about the reality that 99% of these Queens who make these boundary videos only have boundaries for Mr. Average? Boundaries don't apply to Chad, Tyrone, Rico, or any other player / bad boy. If those boundaries held as strong as modern Queens like her want you to believe, then why is there an ocean of single mothers sharing the same baby daddies? 1, I'm not sleeping with you unless you are my boyfriend. Okay, I'm sure the bulk of my male viewers completely believe this. She definitely seems the type to hold on strong to that one. 2, no sleepovers. Wait a minute, if you aren't sleeping with them, then why mention the no sleepover boundary? Unless, of course, she set a boundary number 2 after some guy found the sleepover loophole past her first boundary. 3, no introducing them to family. Okay, this one is simple enough. This actually produces more questions than answers. Did she have the tendency to introduce the Chad / Tyrone she was shagging to her next of kin? Interesting.
Number 4 is no constant texting. This is something that I really had to get over because I love to text, especially if I like somebody. But that really creates a false sense of intimacy, and I don't want a pen pal. Why should I be talking to you all day, every day, if you're not my man? We should be texting here and there, calling here and there, planning dates, and seeing each other in person. Then, as things start progressing, we can start texting more and more. I also used to think that if they weren't texting me 24/7, they didn't like me, and that's just not true either. But don't get that confused. They should still be putting in effort and making plans to see you, and if not, they probably just don't like you. Number 5 might be a little controversial, but I'm not being exclusive to anybody who is not my boyfriend. If you want to be exclusive and not have me talk to other guys, then you can ask me to be your girlfriend. So many guys will ask to be exclusive when 1, they're not being exclusive to you, and 2, because they don't want you talking to other guys, but they still don't want to make you their girlfriend. So nah, not doing that.
No constant texting. Yeah, right, Queen. Who are you kidding here? Texting is a woman's lifeblood in her female gaze to guesstimate if the guy she is into likes her back. This story of a woman limiting text is about as believable as saying Amy Schumer is funny, as saying Disney made the greatest Star Wars trilogy ever, as saying Batman can beat Superman. No one buys it. If texting were smoke signals, women would make each and every town look like they just had a super volcano eruption. Men don't believe this for a single second. A text from Chad would be received by Queens like a prophet getting a commandment straight from the source. Texting to women is like a happy hour on Friday to construction workers. They aren't going to miss out on it. But let's indulge on her final boundary. 5. Not being exclusive to anybody who is not her boyfriend.
Him, her, bodies!
Wow, for a woman with boundaries, she just said she doesn't have a boundary on numbers. That is how you rack up more mileage than a Transit City bus. I mean, boundaries are an interesting thing, especially when there isn't a boundary on carousel rides. Moving on.
I have this friend that told me that she once gave herself a dating.
Yep, I did that. I gave myself a dating quota. And I gave myself a dating quota of 50 first dates in 12 months. Yep, you heard that correctly, 50. And now it sounds like a bit crazy, kinda, but when it was going on and when I decided to do it and I told like my friends, like they all thought it was completely doable and was like such a fab idea, as did I. Now, the backstory of this is that if you're familiar with Modern Love, I used to be obsessed with their podcast and I really, really got into it. And then they would always do these submissions of like 100 word love story. And then oddly enough, they did like a 13-word love story. If you followed Modern Love, either the book or the column or whatever, then you know what I'm talking about. And I'll try and find a screenshot of the particular one that I'm referencing. But it was like 13 words and it was something like dating experiment, 50 dates in 1 year. And then it was like found love at 49. And I was so inspired.
50 dates in 12 months.
That's a lot of bodies.
Okay, ladies, let me get this right. The plan is to find the one using the netting tactic rather than spearfishing. You do understand this is kind of a man's dating strategy, and it rarely, if ever, leads to Miss Right, as it is intended to get to Miss Right Now. Also, unlike men, women emotionally are not designed for sports dating. Men can easily jump from one woman to the next without being too attached to those women and still be able to emotionally bond with a woman down the road. Women don't do that very well, and with a vast increase in male partners like that, it will more than likely have a detrimental effect on a woman's future pair bonding experiences. Why is it that instead of actually listening to men when they tell you queens what they want, the bulk of young women decide to absorb such harmful advice?
I was just so inspired. I thought, wow, like what a true like commitment to love, commitment to yourself, commitment to getting out there. I just thought it was such a brazen and bold take. And I was just super inspired. This is a woman that did this. And like, I loved Modern Love. I still do, but I was really in my bag with that stuff. And I was like, this is a fabulous idea. So obviously I've been in London a couple of years. I was single and I was like, you know what? Like, why not do this? And it's so funny because I've mentioned it like a few times on the internet and I always get like these very like strong opinions and that I'm like crazy or insane. And that wasn't it at all. It was more of just, I want to be outside and I want to meet people. That is the way that I looked at it. I literally had no like negative or ill intent. It was more of like, I didn't date too much when I was in my early 20s and mid 20s. So it was like, this is a way for me to kind of like shorten the timeline and have amazing experiences with different people from all walks of life. I just really wanted to broaden my experiences.
Ladies, this is the part where this gorilla is going to start showing his age a bit in saying some of the most harmful and self-destructive actions one takes in their youth comes from a position of a good idea. Oh, this gorilla has made his fair share of dating knuckleheaded decisions in the modern dating jungles. I probably could fill up an entire hour-long episode easy with the times I goofed in saying that this queen doesn't understand that sports dating, apart from the emotional damage it does to women, it also is going to bring a woman's SMV down. I mean, the men who watch this video are going to assume high mileage off rip. Another thing is bad reputation can spread around in the most innocuous of ways, which will diminish probable HVMs from taking her seriously. Not to mention the fact that rushing so many dates in such a small time frame increases the chances of going out with an actual dangerous man, since the vetting process is so short. Ladies, note I am trying my best here to advise you to err on the side of caution. This sounds like a bit of a reckless dating strategy, to be honest.
And I absolutely did. Those 50 dates were amazing. Like, they weren't all amazing dates, but the collective experience was well worth all of the time, all of the effort, all of the everything. And I think the biggest takeaway, and I used to see a lot of rhetoric online about dating, we all do, but for me, I never wanted to take advice from someone who hadn't put pen to paper, for someone who wasn't in the game. There's so many people that talk about stuff online that they actually don't have firsthand knowledge of. And once you know enough about yourself and about dating and about, in this digital era, you can tell. And I wanted to take advice from a woman that was in my age group, that looked like me, that had experiences like me, and was actually dating. Not someone who's been married for a bunch of years and, doesn't even know how to navigate a dating app or any of that stuff. I wanted to talk to a girl that was outside in the streets like I was. And then I was like, you know what, I'll just do it myself. So yeah, if you have any questions, pop them down below. But 50 first dates in 12 months, highly recommend. And if you're looking to put yourself on a dating quota for 2024, 10 out of 10, I think you should do it.
You all heard that directly from her. She wanted to take advice from a young woman in the streets, not a woman who has been married a bunch of years.
What? What are you talking about?
Seriously, ladies, that is some self-snitching thottery right there. Wasn't the championship wedding ring supposed to be the prize? Yet this queen highly recommends the 304 expressway that she took all the way to the end, including all bumps, jams, and entrances. This didn't sound like a story to find love in the least. It sure sounded like a way to rack up mileage and lose traction. Hey ladies, you can say I may be a bit harsh with what I am saying, as nothing bad could have happened. This is true, but in the same breath, nothing good could have happened either. Hey, it's your taco. You can hit the road and get as much sour cream variety filling into it as you want. Just don't cry when it turns into roast beef later.
Now that's a lot of damage.
I'm just saying, if you enjoy this audit, click on the video in the end screen for more content. If you would like to support the channel, please follow the link in the description to donate to our beer fund, or like, subscribe, and share this video on other social media platforms. If you agree or disagree with anything about this audit, please let us know in the comments. I'm going to leave this audit right here. I'll see all of you in the next episode.